unicorn.
Woo!
You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it.
Spoil it in your face.
That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault.
What's up, Little Biscuits and Sun-Dried Tomatoes? It's your boy, Brandon Collins, a.k.a. Eddie Collins, here with a quick review on Blink Twice, the directorial debut of Zoe Kravitz, who also co-wrote this script with E.T. Feigenbaum. The blurb reads, when tech billionaire Slater King, played by Channing Tatum, meets cocktail waitress Frida at his fundraising gala, he invites her to join him and his friends on a dream vacation on his private island. As strange things start to happen, Frida questions her reality. Now, this has been marketed for a while. I've seen the trailer in before a lot of movies the past few months, and it's being released by Amazon MGM Studios, and I had the pleasure of seeing a screening for this a few weeks ago. And it's very interesting because the way that it's marketed, it seems like kind of a thriller in the Get Out category, of like sci-fi horror, but it's a lot more sinister, like you can even imagine, because it's not spoilery really to say this is kind of Zoe Kravitz's exploration of like shit that went down on Epstein Island, and it's a very dark turn for Channing Tatum, who uses his charm to, I would say, great effect in his performance as Slater King. There's other actors that pop up, like Christian Slater, Simon Rex, who plays this chef friend of Slater, who, when they go to this island that Slater King owns, he keeps supposedly getting produce from, like, the local land and all this stuff. Haley Joel Osment has a role, and then Frida's played by Naomi Aki, who has been in Rise of Skywalker, on the last Star Wars movie that we saw, as well as the Whitney Houston biopic. And so those haven't been the best, most well-received films, but Naomi knocks it out of the park in this one. She has a very interesting, just beautiful look that's very exotic, and she plays Frida in such a unique way where she comes off innocent and naive, but she's so driven by power. And to see her kind of deal with the circumstances that she finds herself in, her and her best friend Jess, who's played by Alia Sawkat, who's been in like Arrested Development and The Old Man and Drunk History. So it was really interesting seeing Frida's journey from being this naive cocktail waitress who runs the Slater King. I think it was implied that they had connected the previous year because her boss is like, hey, try not to be chummy with the guests and stuff like that. So she connects with Slater King after falling down in like a very absurd way. Like the tone of this film, I think, is the thing that I struggle with the most. I did enjoy this movie, even with its dark themes, and just men are such pieces of shit, man. We especially the men in this film do very, very vile things to the female characters. It is incredibly dark and disturbing, and I do think it would behoove the marketing to kind of give some type of trigger warning. I'm not even being facetious when I say that. There's a lot of disturbing scenes and abuse towards women that if you're not prepared for it, like I wasn't, I was kind of expecting some dark, sinister violence and some twisted mental games, but this even exceeded that, because when you get to some of the plot twists, you're like, holy shit, this is more nefarious than I even thought it would be. And again, it's all done with a smile and a wink of the eye by Channing Tatum, who, again, this might be one of his best roles in regards to drama. You wouldn't think that this would be like a psychological drama, but like he actually brings a very interesting. He gives a very interesting approach to a character like Slater King, and it's one of his best dramatic roles since A Guide to Recognizing Their Saints, which was the film where I realized, I was like, oh, if he's given the right material and direction, he's got some promise as an actor, and he's starting to really follow through on that. I think Zoe Kravitz really knew how to unlock certain things in him, and she has a great eye. The cinematography is done by Adam Newport Barra. Between Adam's work and Zoe's direction, like, it's a beautiful looking film. It's probably Midsommar-esque in regards to how it looks, how like and, showcases the island that Slater King takes Frida and her friend to, and just the lifestyle that they carry, and like these rich people that don't have a set schedule because Slater King no longer runs his company because of. We never get clarity on what the controversy is that kind of gets him canceled, but it's implied that it's bad. But Frida's like kind of like, I don't give a fuck. I still want to pursue Slater. Oh yeah, Gina Davis and Kyle MacLachlan are in this movie, and some very interesting roles. But it's just cool seeing them pop up in this movie. Gina Davis is out of her goddamn mind, but that's the character, not the actress, right? Or maybe it's a marriage of both. But the third act is very messy because you're trying to juggle a lot of different themes and follow through on a lot of questions and promises that are set up in the first two acts. And I'd be remiss to not say that some of those eggs do crack on the ground. Keep everything above the ground. But I don't know what I was trying to say with the ground analogy. But all I'm trying to say is the third act falls apart a little bit. That's not to discount Naomi Aki's performance as Frida. She's really good. Same with Channing Tatum. And then also Adria Arjona, who just had a great turn in Hitman on Netflix. She is Sarah, who's like this kind of Survivor-esque woman. She was like in a Survivor-esque show. And she's kind of competing with Frida for the affection of Slater while they're on this island. But then, she has Simon Rex's character kind of pining after her. And then there's she's part of the twist. And when that happens and the things that Frida and Sarah have to do to navigate the situation, it leans into satire and kind of, really dark humor and comedy. But it's also tonally, this is a really hard tone to get. A very hard tone, because at times it seems like it wants to be laugh out loud funny, and other times it slaps you in the face and is as fucking twisted and dark as movies like Get Out, and even more psychological thrillers, where people are trapped and don't really have many options. Not as extreme as like a Hostel or something like that, but it's pretty fucking jarring and intense. I would say, like, don't go to this movie with an edible. Probably don't watch this drunk. You should probably watch this with a clear mind, especially, if you're going with a group of people, because it does spark a lot of discussion. And like I said, it is triggering in a lot of ways. So it's important to really keep emphasizing that, because I don't think that's being, for obvious reasons, the studio wants people to, see this movie. So they're not going to turn people off by saying, hey, there's some heavy content and like fucking extreme images that might be disturbing and you may want to refrain from watching. But nonetheless, I hope that Zoe Kravitz gets to make another movie. I think that this is a really strong start in her directing career. Had a budget of $20 million. It's all on the screen, in my opinion. I think it looks, like I said, it's a beautiful looking film. Just the wardrobe, some of the camera angles and choices, and the performances are really solid. It's just, the third act falls apart a little bit for me, but that's not to discount the amazing performances and great cinematography. So if you've listened to this show, you know how our ratings work. But if you haven't, we rate movies on scales of popcorn, small, medium, large, XO for the exception of a movie does not deserve a fresh bag of popcorn. We put into the stale pile of popcorn, where we put out piles and piles of stale popcorn on top of it. So I watched Blink Twice, directed by Zoe Kravitz, starring Channing Tatum, Naomi Aki, Christian Slater, Adria Arjona, and a bunch of other great actors that you know and love. And this gets a medium for me. I think it took a lot of swings and tried to tackle a lot of heavy themes, some to great effect and others not so much. But the performances are really what elevate this movie. The performance of Naomi Aki, Channing Tatum, and to an extent Adria Arjona really lift this movie and make it a noteworthy watch and worth recommending to other folks. And Adria Arjona, man, she is a beautiful, beautiful actress. I think she's on the cusp of really hitting it big and being some blockbuster where she becomes a household name and one of the new hot actors of her generation. I really do. But shout out to Channing Tatum, who's also had a hell of a year after Deadpool and Wolverine, and now this. Even though this is a 180 from Gambit, like And that's the versatility of an actor, right? But at the same time, his character is it's as bad as Calvin Candy, I would say. You just don't know it for the marketing, and I don't think it's a spoiler, but he's not a great guy. So have that with who will. Folks, you can follow me at Frodo_Blackens on all social media platforms, particularly Threads and Instagram. That's where I really am at, FrodoBlackens.com. And then you can follow the show, Medium P Podcast, on all social media platforms. Be sure to push that subscribe button so you get alerted about all future reviews and celebrity interviews. I actually have one coming up with director Zoe Kravitz, so be able to look out for that. And then also patreon.com/medium popcorn. If you enjoy our reviews and our content, please consider signing up. We have $2, $5, $10, and $15 tiers and packages available. Hundreds and hundreds of hours of bonus content. It all helps support the show. So again, patreon.com/medium popcorn. All right, y'all. That was my main review on Blink Twice, and I will talk to you all soon. Peace.
Medium popcorn. We are two niggas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins, that's me, and Justin Brown for your movie needs. Medium popcorn. Woo! You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it. Spoil it in your face. That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault.